It is late at night on Friday the 13th, and I am feeling energetic, so to speak. Gonna take a run through the 2 energy sets of Ascension and see what happens. And right off the bat, the Righteous Templar looks the best, but I have a 5-0, so I'm gonna go ahead and buy the Banisher here. Gives me some energy as well, and then leaves me 4, and I'm gonna buy the Righteous Templar. So my opponent is going to take a Skyrocket Drone and turn it into a Mystic pretty quickly by taking the construct that requires 2 energy, and then it makes 2 energy, or makes 2 runes every time that you have 2 energy in a turn. So I think I want a Mystic. I want to start buying some of those higher cost cards out there. And kill a cultist. So part of the reason I really wanted this Righteous Templar is because it gives me the chance to hit the Firestorm Effigy pretty quickly, pick up that 2 energy that's under the Firestorm Effigy, and banish a couple cards pretty quickly. So that's what I'm going to do here. I feel like if you can get the jump, and especially in this set on banishing, it's just pretty rare. There aren't a lot of really good banishers in the set. I think that can pay off. And also the Righteous Templar will give me this kind of late game potential to just kill any big monster that were to pop out there. He's picked up a heavy infantry along the way as well, and now picks up the Leotan familiar and another heavy. So kind of going off after the honor pool, kind of mixing and matching a little bit. So I'm going to be able to, I feel like, to develop a pretty good rune advantage. And with little fear of not being able to kill the monsters, as I already have aforementioned Righteous Templar. So I feel, that I'm pretty well advantaged at this point. And I think I can take that Star Collar Leotan, because I am starting to create a pretty good amount of energy, and I may just be able to get huge chunks from the honor pool rather quickly here as I banish through some of my starter cards with the Spirit Merchant. And I think that maybe I will outrace any kind of honor rush that he's starting to try to develop here. He's now added the powerful Raven Siren to his deck, so if he's able to get some energy, that card can become pretty good, where you can just use it to get a hero for free pretty much. Spike Merchant, gonna get rid of this other militia. That's not how I'm beating monsters. And just looking at whether, I guess I could take the Sculptor. It's not, it's gonna copy a Mystic a lot of the time, but it could copy, the Merchant, or I may pick up something else. I think it's better than picking up just another Mystic at this point. Has a little bit higher potential. Okay, so he now has a 3/3 and is unable to beat the Firestorm Effigy, so I'm going to be able to beat my second Firestorm Effigy. I don't have enough to really pick up any of the cards that are super impressive in the center row, so I think I could pick up the Vanquisher if I hold back on banishing one of these apprentices, but I think I'm pretty happy to just go ahead and get rid of 2 apprentices and maybe not buy anything. I have enough Mystics. I want to thin the deck. I want to draw that Star Collar Leotan and Righteous Templar a lot and make sure I can energize the Templar and the Leotan as much as possible. It kind of has more, scalable energize. The more you can energize it, the better. So I think that's probably, and I just don't want to overload on Mystics. So lots of energy going on. I'm going to go ahead and banish away this discard pile apprentice. And now I have 6. And it's an interesting choice here. I could get more energy, which would really help my my Star Collar Leotan, or I could get the Zeta Arsenal, but I have no other Makana at the moment to really enforce it. I think I'm actually pretty happy to just pick up the Arsenal. Because I can just add more Makana to it afterwards, and there's 2 Spirit Colors out there, so if I really want that effect, even if I might not get the one with the Energy Shard, pretty okay to take the second one as a consolation prize. And we're still pretty early, so I think well, there goes that plan, but I think that really I could still build a pretty good Makana deck with the rune advantage that I kind of have going on already here. Unfortunately, the Reality Sculptor isn't doing much this turn, and again, I'm just going to go ahead and pass without buying anything. You give up an honor or two throughout the game, just not buying a card when you could, but I think that it can really pay off in the later stages of the game to not have clogged my deck up with a random Mystic or Heavy Infantry that I just don't really need. It would kind of defeat the purpose of the Spike Merchant or the Spirit Merchant that's kind of going through systematically and removing my starter cards. Speaking of, another starter card gone, I've energized the Zeta Arsenal, and I think I will follow that up and go ahead and buy the Omnicron. And so this turn, the Zeta Arsenal being energized means nothing whatsoever. Decent chance I'll be able to pick up Erebus the Exiled, which transforms into something that I believe, if it beats monsters from the void, yes. And that can be pretty game-breaking. Although, beating a Twisted Tyrant in itself could be a pretty game-breaking thing as well. So we have options. Here I'm going to be able to get a couple energy off that. I'm going to energize that. I think I will go ahead and pick up the Zeta Arsenal. Or pick up the Erebus. Energize the Zeta Arsenal. Although, maybe Ula's. Yeah, I think I beat the Twisted Tyrant. And then that should allow me to pick up Ula. And I think I'll still have a fair chance at coming back around and picking up the Erebus the next time with my Zeta Arsenal. So, going to be copying a Mystic this time. And won't be able to pick up the Prototype. Now the question is, do I want the Voidsworn Warrior or do I want to Banish? And probably I just want the Banish. I don't think he's energizing super well, so the odds of him flipping it are, maybe 50-50. He's got a couple of energy cards, but that's one thing about energy sets is if you're the player that picks up all the energy, you just win. In this case, I've really kind of ridden the Righteous Templar and a lot of energy, which I happen to get some of off of the Righteous Templar, and a lot of banishing. Really an inordinate amount of banishing that's happened for me in based on the sets that are being played here. There just isn't a ton of banishing, probably by design, in these two energy sets. But I've managed to hit on what has been out there, and almost all of my starter cards are gone. And so now I'm just now copying Starcaller Leotan is just going to be completely ridiculous. And I'm going to go ahead and, this is worth 3 honor, to pump that into the Leotan. So, and that finishes off the honor pool in one big flurry and looks to be enough to just kind of run away with this game. So, I guess the lesson is if you can pick up Righteous Templar early in the game, especially if you already see a Firestorm effigy on the board with 2 shards under it, just do it. Not sure if that's the most helpful lesson, but that's exactly what I did, and that's what won the game. So thank you for joining me for this video, and I think we'll try another one with the energy sets and just see how that goes.